Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. So I'm going to wait a little bit to do my spill. Market is moving around quite a bit already, actually. I'm going to post the links and I'm going to do like my spill at 6:25. All right. So let's, well, we got a bunch of stuff we got to close first. Now let's get the stream links for you guys in. That was a run. Oh my. E-mini is just all over the place. This is all just crazy.
Tend to do 40,000. The continuing jobless claims seen at 1.7 million and 1.71 million. The range 1.65 to 1.72, 1.65 to 1.72 million. 4-week average for jobless claims at 223,250 last week. Labour costs revised for Q3 expected at 1.1, slipping from 1.2. The range 0.5 to 2.5. And productivity seen revised for Q3 to 2.3, up from 2.2%. The range 2.1 to 2.8.
So ADP
Canadian trade balance for October expected to see a deficit of 700 million for a deficit of 420 million last month. The range of deficit of 1.7 billion to a surplus of 250 million. Exports seen at 50.47 billion versus 50.38 billion last month. Imports seen in Canada for October at 51.1 billion versus 50.79 billion.
Okay, so ADP non-farm employment change was 179 versus 195. So that is why the markets are all riled up right now. Good morning, everybody. See people filtering in slowly. I'm gonna do my spill in 3 minutes. Here. Try and figure out what's going on. And now 3 ticks down. Okay. Fed reportedly rejects Wells Fargo reform plan for preventing further consumer abuses. Oh my. And oil continues to slide. Make sure that we have it charted, because it's really starting to become my big deal. I won't have, just gonna do it by the minute. 5 minutes, sure. Does appear to be some correlation with oil here. Mm-mm-mm. Perhaps situation of the George H.W. Bush holiday has been exploited to prepare for some buy-up and a rip-off-your-face day into Christmas. Not that likely, but shouldn't rule it out. There needs to be some good news, really good news, considering what's happened since the very good news in the last week has been wiped away. Time will tell. Better lower a little bit. Bum 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 ba-dum. Good morning. Good morning to the one person that watches on Twitch. Thank you.
Okay,
Back
so
to the
getting
view
more
op.
from social media on the oil cut. Again, a delegate says they won't make again, similar to what we heard in the Reuters report. They're not going to make this public today. They want it's an OPEC plus agreement, so they have to wait following tomorrow's meeting with Russia and others to decide on the actual size of the cut. However, there is an agreement to cut as output is slowing down. The delegate.
Okay, so let's look at the charts now. It's 6:25. So today is December 6th, 2018, and interesting thing happened. So yesterday we were off because of George Bush's funeral. And then when the futures started back up again in the evening, they immediately sold the S&P 500. So I know somebody was asking about if this is a gap that fills. Although, well, so from the point of the S&P 500 actual index, this will create a gap unless we somehow fill this before the open, back up to, what is it, 2707. So I do think that we could see some buying in the E-mini. And what I found to be common, if we zoom out here a little bit, okay, so we had this big gap down, and you notice that if we come back on a larger time frame, there's kind of this stoppy zone up in here. So now that we've gone up above it and then
Block
back,
sell.
it's likely for us to fill in this area of the profile around up to 27.25 in the E-mini. But they continue to sell it. So because we have a gap, there's a good chance that we will retrace up to here. This area right here, there's a good chance that we will fill that in, and I think there's still a good chance that we fill in up to like 27.64. But the way the probability works is like if they don't fill it, then you're gonna have a really strong trend day. That tends to be the probabilities there on the E-mini market profile wise. ZB, we are above the bull bear zone, which is 50% of from the open to the extreme. So that's what we got there. And in ZN, we're sitting just above the VWAP. Now, note, we did go, we had a pretty good buy on Tuesday, and then today, in the overnight session, we have gone higher, but this last pivot did not go quite as high. So I would not be surprised. I think that on the E-mini open, you're going to see at least an attempt. Mind you, I'm just saying just an attempt for the E-mini to make a run. So just be careful here. But we have decently large numbers coming up. I'm going to turn the squawk back on now. We have decently large numbers coming up here. Trade balance in particular, they're expecting a negative 55.2. But we also got non-farm productivity, which is expected at 2.3, and revised unit labor costs at 1.1. So we'll see how those things affect us. If those numbers are good, that could give us the rally in the E-mini that they need to make it back to the gap. But yes. So yes, let's see here in chat. Okay, so liquidity is relatively light right now.
Start with the trade balance data.
Thank you. That would be great.
10 seconds. Trade balance comes in at 55.5 billion.
Okay, in line.
Quick look at initial jobless claims then at 231,000 versus 235,000.
Well, higher than expected.
1.631 million versus 1.705. Labour costs coming up 0.9% revised. Productivity comes in
Under
2.3%. Canadian trade balance deficit of 1.17 billion. Exports at 49.32 billion. Imports at 50.49 billion.
Okay. So
widening trade balance there to 55.5 billion. This is estimates of.
Oh, sorry, I misread. The unemployment claims were better than expected.
Deficit.
It was better than expected. 231 versus 226. Productivity was in line. Unit labor costs was less than expected. Which I think is, I mean, that's kind of a good thing, but also a bad thing for inflation. Okay, so we are seeing a little bit of liquidity coming back.
We're down 0.1% versus September's rise of 1.5%. Imports were up on the month by 0.2 versus a rise of 1.5% last time round. US-China October trade deficit of 43.1 billion. That widens from 40.24 billion seen in September. Oil import price at $61.23 from $61.35 last month, a rise of 29.5% from October 2017. So capital goods imports there 56.91 billion from September's imports of 60.06 billion. Goods deficit at 78.11 billion, services surplus 22.62 billion.
Well, I'm going to try taking this. Okay. Not what I expected. Might push a little bit higher. We are getting the line here. Yeah, they're totally willing to buy it at 09 there. Wouldn't have gotten filled anyways, so. 5-year looks well poised to fall, must say. Well, now we're in this profile, so should avoid taking a trade in here.
Bank of Canada's Polos here says interest rates will need to rise. Pace of hikes will remain decidedly data dependent. As data released since October's monetary policy report have been on the disappointing side. Economy has less momentum heading into Q4 than expected. Follows much of the governing council discussions were focused on oil prices. Prices are well below NPR projections, and demand could be hit by moderating global growth and trade tensions. BOC continues to judge rates need to rise into neutral range. Neutral is in the neighbourhood of 2.5% to 3.5%. Household spending is behaving roughly as expected, says Polos, and it expects a meaningful impact on Canadian macroeconomy from oil.
Alright, well, they're already to the other side, so we shall see. The book still looks negative to me. Absorption, you kind of getting it a little bit both ways. E-mini making a little bit of a push up there. Iceberg. Okay, so they may be making an attempt to break the low here in the treasuries. They're loading up for sure.
There's now Audi division, Vauxhall Audi division said 2,000 of the 151,000 diesel cars could be recalled. KBA gave it green light to recall additional diesel models for free of charge software updates.
Should have just puked it immediately. Oh well. That sucks. Let's see if they do it here on this side. I feel like that kind of action right there is the market makers attempting to frustrate and shake out people. Okay. So absorption at the top of it. Kind of the setup I was hoping for to get short before, but they're getting through it. Oh. Well, nothing hitting into 110.5 yet.
Let's get into US cash equity open then. Shares of Alibaba and Baidu seen losing out after this Huawei exec arrest. Canada. Alibaba down some 3%, Baidu losing 2.5%, JD.com about nearly 4%. US census says US crude oil exports reached 2,326,000 barrels a day in October versus 2,116,000 barrels a day in September.
Hmm. I don't know. It's acting the way that I wanted it to here, but it doesn't seem to be giving me any comfort, does it? Need to.
Block buy.
Yeah. Okay. We're not doing this today, huh? Just puke this out. Interesting because the E-mini is not moving in response. Hmm.
FT reporting Deutsche Bank processed a further 31 billion euros for Danske. This is more than previously thought, increasing its exposure to the world's biggest money laundering scandal. Just when you didn't think it could get any worse for the bank.
Well, when it was down here, a break of the lows and some risk coming out, I thought was a reasonable trade. But after that black buy, it becomes really hard to sell it, Like, I would really need to see a break of the bottom of the range now to want to sell it.
Deutsche Bank share price down 7.8%. Sorry, they traded 7.8%. Traded 7.8 euros. They're down 3.5%.
Block sell.
I guess not. This is the same kind of nonsense, isn't it? 3,600 bought there. 3,130 sold there. And the 5-year, some pretty big trades back and forth there.
Company news, keep an eye on Barrick Gold. Their CEO, Mark Bristow, is to sell a variety of non-core assets, cut costs, and shrink head office management, says the Wall Street Journal.
Hmm. Now look at that.
Block by.
Okay. Man. That's pretty crazy, guys. Get the E-mini go now.
So another delegate, OPEC may propose 900,000 to a million barrel per day cuts to Russia. Says the delegate. OPEC would seek further cuts from non-OPEC nations. OPEC still working on participation levels in proposal. Still working on deal. There are no final agreements as yet, says the delegate.
Well, that's interesting. So, um, it appears that they're stuck at 10.5 because there was some pretty aggressive action up in there, and we're getting this like the really insistent buyer again. But the thing that I find really
Back to
interesting is the
Russia.
E-mini is just
Let's
puking
discuss
here and they're
OPEC
not
plus
moving up.
cuts with Putin. Russian industry sources tell Reuters.
The E-mini had a pretty good fall there, and the Treasuries did not. The 5-year did not react. And now you're just getting a really big iceberg here. Well, not iceberg. You're just getting a big toppy thing. It's not. eh. I really don't like the spot either. I don't know how I ended up with. Whoa, I had like way more on there than I should have. Well, what is crazy is that there was 3 block orders at that. 3 huge chunks of volume bought there. price for short 120, 150, perhaps. 123 is the settlement price. Well, now that is interesting. But I don't know. The risk reward here at 10.5 doesn't seem to be right. I think that they need to come down a tick or two. Well, I guess they've come down a tick. Yeah, see, so I lost. Yeah, okay. It's no good. It's no good, guys. I screwed up. That was a misclick. Okay. See, now the Yemeni is pushing down a little bit and they are coming back up. How to open second time in sales for Dom and Sierra charts. I do not know anything about Sierra charts. I should probably try it for a month just so that I can help people a bit more because it is really popular, isn't it? Mm.
So in the retail space, you've got ESL Partners will form a new company for a $4.6 billion bid for Sears Holdings. This initial bid is to buy all of assets of non-debtors, ACD, IP, SRC.
Block cell.
Apparently, then we mentioned this earlier, but there's a meeting of ministers into number 10, and it includes Hammond, Lidington, Gove, Fox, Gork, Rudd, Barclay, Chief Whip, and apparently interestingly led some. I don't know why it's interesting, but that's just being put out by Sam Coates.
Hmm. See, what I'm seeing right now. Well, so for one thing, the book is completely flipped. Um, and it seems to be saying flipped, but then there's just a lot of absorption on the bid, and it seems like even though those guys really bought it up at 10.5, they totally wanted it at 10 too. So I think that these guys are actually quite happy that it is that somebody was aggressively selling it there. You know what I mean? I mean, it might be the other way around too. The guy that's selling it might have been happy that they bought it up so strongly to 10.5, and he thought, oh, it's up at the top of the range. I think I can just take it here. But the E-mini doesn't look terribly positive at the moment. 1500 at 24 in ZB. Yeah. Should reset this so that we can see it on the chart here a little bit. That 28 has been there for a long time, so I think there's a really good chance I'm going to take that one out. And the 13 is just there because we did pivot there a little bit, and it's at the high, so that particular large order is, you should expect to be there. It's not unusual. They appear to be reacting a little bit more to the upticks in the E-mini than they are the downticks. Hmm. They only traded 378 into 24 there. All right. There's a little sweep along in the mini. I'm a little surprised that I didn't get filled at 11. There it goes down again. Very easily. Very easily in the E-mini. Very easily, but they didn't break the bottom of the range. It still looks like buyers more than willing to take it here in the 10-year. You are building a little bit more volume at 24. It's actually overall bid at 24 now. Oh, there's now the E-mini is making a new low. Yeah. Yep. But they didn't tick up. A little bit of volume there in the E-mini. Some of it is. So now there's some pretty good bids below us in the 30-year, and they're trading a decent iceberg at 24 too. And the offers are starting to look a little weaker, although not in the 5-year yet. Kind of this step in the profile here is a little bit of a problem still, especially in the 5-year. But I think part of this is that this buyer, I mean, he may be somebody that's covering. You know, why would he buy the 10.5 when he's getting more than his fill at 10? So they're not ticking it up. Well, there's a good amount of volume buying it in the 30-year now too. Okay. Well, now that's gonna get filled. Yep.
In auto
Thank
news,
you.
then, Brazil Auto Association expects 2018 to close with 11.1% production growth, 13.7% sales growth, drop of 8.6 in exports.
They took it. I would not be surprised if the E-mini tries to make it down to the low of the session for the open. Okay. So that allowed us to fix our little mistake that we made. Now we're back on track. Pretty big iceberg selling at 11.5 though. Okay. Well, they appear to be holding it. And 300.
Right, so this is doing the rounds on social media, that this meeting of soft Brexiteers and Leadsom say that some cabinet ministers meeting at number 10 to discuss meaningful vote could mean something important, then might not. So just doing them, clarifying it, covering themselves really, but just something to watch.
Okay. So now we're forming a volume. Let's take it.
Whitehall sources, there's no cause for excitement with this meeting going ahead, so.
They're still buying it in the 5-year.
127.54.
So this kind of makes me think that it's going to continue, but this iceberg is I have to take that. I think, especially with this zipper, like the probability becomes like super uncertain now for me. Oof. So that you can say thank you to me. Yeah, well, I wish that I had seen what you had said earlier, because what happened was
OPEC discussing cut exemptions for 3 nations, says a delegate.
Because when the block buy came through, I changed my opinion, and then I saw what you had said, so I had kind of already flipped, but I wish I had seen that before and had said, well,
block buy.
There's not a. Okay, so they are still taking it.
So the exemptions will be Libya, Iran, and Venezuela, not Nigeria.
So why are you going out? I went out because they they formed a volume area there. But now there's a block buyer at 12. I want to see if I can get filled at 11.5 and get it off at 12. The 5-year is in crazy mode. It's hard to know what it's going to do, how far it could go. Yeah, anyways, when I see a big iceberg, I generally want to get out. So, especially if it starts doing this on my chart.
Now, apparently, it's a total cut being talked about by Amina Bakir on social media of 1 million barrels.
But when the block buy came in,
total cut fraction of 1 million barrels.
When the block buy came in, then I said, "Oh, okay, it's still on." Well, now what are we starting to show? I need something better than that. Wow, this is really up. I have to like go really far back to really see. I don't really see. Maybe. Oh. 123.
News then, Noble Group said to prepare for UK insolvency procedure.
You were talking about 120.30 as being like the contract close, right? Totally. Ugh. So that's a continuation right there. They bumped through that iceberg and put a strong bid. Unfinished. They're not all out. I should maybe actually pull there. Move that limit to 16. Let's. That is a lot there at 13.5 buying. Yeah. Okay. So there's definitely some profit taking there. Okay, so I do see. Look at how much they're willing to buy in the 5-year. Okay, that time it held. And yeah, okay. Oh, so these ones start to get really it cannot do that forever. Oh, this is just they are really scared, aren't they? And what the 5-year is doing here is
current management is focused on compliance.
You think Uzi thinks it's going to do 16, huh?
Did that with a straight face.
This becomes hard to trade because you get a lot of. Oh my gosh. Really?
Block buy.
Wow.
I've seen now more action here with Flight to safety coming through on the bonds at the moment. Yen also getting bid at the moment.
So every time I sit there and I go, okay, so if I put it at 16, I'm pretty sure that I would get filled at this point. Oh, so that one actually is not quite so good. Okay.
Lows for bund yields at 2.38%.
Let's just, I think that they're going to take a break here. Let's just step back for a little bit. Is he giggling? So the thing is I'm still really cautious because, okay, so there's 15k, so I think that getting out there is prudent. It did get to 16, so you get bounty points for that, yeah. Yes, definitely. And that was a good, what was it? 7-tick winner. This is pretty good. Ugh. See, so here's the thing that it does on these days. Well, I mean, it was kind of doing it earlier, but this is some of the strongest I've seen in a very, very long time. There will be a big iceberg.
Bloomberg Economics here. This is coming on social media.
Hold on.
Expect ECB to lower its GDP forecast, but strike an assured tone next week to prevent expectations of rate hikes from slipping further into the future.
You'll get a big iceberg. They'll take the iceberg out and they'll immediately put a huge bid on it. You think that it's the 16 to 20 zone is going to get off there?
That was something on their website from a while back, so again, social media picking up on that, but it's been out as well. If we set knowledge economic slowdown, we have release be coming up next week. Deutsche Bank CFO telling CNBC not aware of any wrongdoing on our side in the Panama Papers case. Says we are not aware of any wrongdoing. Again, that probe said to internal probe is said to found that no Danske wrongdoing. Said to find no Panama Papers wrongdoing. Deutsche Bank CFO says the bank is on track.
Oh, there it is on the bid again. Keep the 30 in the back of my head. Yeah, because I was like, okay, so what are some of my targets? Because, okay, so now they are showing some at 17, but that's just because that's a high. And I do see one showing up at 20 now as well.
Deutsche Bank CFO, our share price is a concern.
Anyways, okay. They might just take this next little leg without me. Like this.
Asked on CNBC if clients are withdrawing funds, says reaction of customers is very limited. Deutsche Bank CFO.
They might take it up to 08. I am seeing a lot more resistance here now.
No, though, is it really? The Deutsche Bank CFO asked if by CNBC if clients are withdrawing funds, his reaction of customers is very limited.
So
As we're to stick to our financial targets on track since to make first annual profits in 2014.
did you not know that insider trading is a no? I didn't know. So I had a thought yesterday. So here was my thought yesterday. I was watching a video about fighting games, and they were talking about mind games. And in fighting games, there's
There won't be any more reserves put aside for the Danska Panama situation, says CFO.
a archetype character in fighting games, and the best example of this archetype is Zangief in Street Fighter, but they're a grappler character. And the thing about grappler characters is that they're very slow and they're kind of hard to get in. And if you go in for the really strong grab and you miss, then they can get hurt really badly.
Related news now: oil market remains well supplied, says S&P Platts Midgley. 30% drop based on sentiment, not fundamentals.
So the grappler character.
This bond move here, large block of some CBOT 2-year futures totaling 18,000 contracts has gone through, says TME data.
Anyways, so these grappler characters, well, so it is kind of failing this area. So
15 yields at 2.87%.
They may have actually put in a top, frankly. There's no way to know.
Just be aware, Apollos is now taking questions. Put a link to Apollos' appearance.
So anyways, the grappler character, he has to get in, and so his thing is always he's got to be scary. They're always really big and aggressive looking, and they're scary, and they play scary, and their whole point is to try and scare you so that you start to play safe. And then when you start to play safe, that gives them the opportunity for them to come in and throw you. And so if you are playing against a grappler, the correct thing to do is to not be scared. It's to actually hit for it, to just really go drive into them, and then he can never do anything. So they actually can be very difficult and weak characters in those games. So it was so the thought that I had was just with trading was like that psychological feeling that they create is the exact opposite of what you want, right? If they're making you scared, what they're trying to do is trying to get you to play it safe when really what you need to be doing is leveraging up. Good fucking grief. Wow. And if they're making you angry, they're trying to goad you into making a mistake. Yeah. So you got to do the opposite thing. When you get mad, you need to reduce your risk. You need to be more safe. And when you are scared, then you need to start looking for the opportunity. Right now, they look really scared. So I'm kind of got out because we formed a profit taking zone. They pushed through it really strongly, and then they pulled back right back to that zone. And now they bounced off of it really. Now they're pushing back up. It could be a top.
They'll be heading to the US cash equity open then. Just know VIX at its highest level since October, end of October, up some 3.35 points, turning above 24 now. Obviously, the big story overnight was that Huawei exec arrest in Canada that has seen Asian markets worried about potential knock-on effects to the US-China relationship. We have in the Commerce Ministry earlier today that seemed undeterred by the comments and continuing to want to talk about coming to some sort of agreement with the US. Apple's had its share price price target cut there by Rosenblatt. That got some attention earlier today.
So, anyways, so then I thought about the action that we had yesterday, because what we had yesterday was very much like what we had here.
A full range of company news on our website for those that want to look a bit more into the companies ahead of the cash equity open.
Block sell.
Block orders both ways.
And the other big story is the OPEC have agreed to principle agreed to a cut amongst the OPEC members. But
Oil's not moved yet.
It's been put between 900 million barrels in total between OPEC and non-OPEC producers. But we have to wait until that non-OPEC meeting tomorrow to get, I believe, from what I've read, to get confirmation of that.
Okay, so anyways, when that happens, so it's happening right now. It's happening right now. There was a block buy at 16, there was a block sell at 16. There are people still buying it at 16. So question. What is that guy that's buying it there feeling? Because the change that I had today was when I saw them fight it, and then even a tick lower, this guy is still buying it. That says to me that this guy's not necessarily scared. In fact, that's why I was saying it could be somebody that's been short for a long time and is covering. Because at that point, if you're we're moving up and you've decided that you're getting out, if it comes down a little bit, you don't care, right? That's great. That just means that you can get your basis a little bit lower. You keep buying that. You're getting out. Or if you've just decided that you're going to go up. Anyways, that even this right here, I mean, I think this is a little bit different because of the deviations. Now I think they're feeling something a little bit different. But when it was back here, this one right here at 10 and a half, I think that was where I took it, wasn't it? Yeah. That's where I started taking it. That guy was not scared. You know? If anything, I think that the person trying to sell it there was trying to scare and freak us out. There's a lot of volume here.
Mostly driven by international development.
Look at your volume profile. See the next cluster building at 16. Yeah.
Paula says we won't really know we're at neutral until we're there.
So and they're buying at 16.5 too. Oof. I don't think I want to mess with this until equities have been open for a little bit. Because I really think that buyers could come in aggressive. So my feet are really cold. So I'm going to go get some socks and I'll be right back.
Yeah, we're waiting for more. I guess, again, as I said, we might have to wait till tomorrow. Apollo says he's not dismissing the warning that the flat yield curve is giving.
Okay. So now they're settling back at the bottom of this. I think there's a good chance. Nope, it's not at 15.5. I think that there's a good chance that we fall through this profile bit and fall back. Okay. Here comes ES. Okay. I'm still getting 12.18.
Right, under a minute to go before we get this session reopened. It's going to be one of those ones.
It's not. That's wrong. Okay. Give me that. Give me that. Hmm. That's so just crazy. Look at it. Oh my gosh.
Block cell.
Wow. This is nuts, guys. Wow. Okay, it filled me.
Not from an OPEC delegate that the meeting is yet to conclude after 3.5 hours.
Okay. So I do see the buyer's still trying to hold this spot and seller's still trying to blow him out. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. That sucks.
It's the end of the Q&A session with Bank of Canada's Palos.
Okay. Bum 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 bum. That one I really should have bailed on. I don't know why I'm so bad at bailing lately, but yeah. Fuck, look at that. Okay, so that was a new low in the E-mini. Right? Fucking really? It's 46? Ugh. I don't think it's gonna go to 23, to be honest. I really don't. Okay, well, I did the right thing and I just didn't just happen to not get filled. It's okay. That would have been plus 8.
In 10 minutes' time, we'll be getting the final November rating for the U.S. Market Services PMI, expected to be unchanged at 54.4. The composite PMI 54.4 previously.
Alright, well, let's get rid of that. He's still willing to buy at 15.5. Curious.
Block by.
Hmm. The delta in the E-mini is not equalized, which makes me think that they could continue to move up. Bitcoin is taking a dive. Holy shit, guys. We've been watching like a real show over here in ES, and Bitcoin has probably been like even more exciting. 3,400. Like that's a new low in Bitcoin, isn't it? Because it stopped at 3,500. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting anything here at 15.5. Okay. Okay. Seem to be handling that little bit of selling there pretty well, actually. The book
Block
looks
sell.
the book looks very negative to me.
Block buy.
Yep.
Comments now from OPEC delegate. The possible group will be reached, announced the deal today. Minutes now until we get the final November reading for the US Market Services PMI. Again, expected to be unchanged, 54.4. With the composite PMI previously 54.
So that last buy in the E-mini looked a little weak to me. That's not risks, not appropriate there. Okay.
Block buy.
God. Yeah, I'm still this one right here. That one where I sold it at 16. I think that was like a frustration trade. I
Block
think.
sell.
Like, all right.
Ten seconds. Equity news.
Go for 20.
Target of Apple to $210 from prior of 225. 54.7, 54.7 for the services PMI. Composite at 54.7 as well. For the services sector, final PMI employment index was the lowest since June 2017. The new business index for November coming in at 54.5.
Wait, I'm confused now. Oh, I took profit on one contract, right? Okay.
Block sell.
I should put this up. Okay. What? Okay. Nope. What the fuck? What the fuck? I am sorry. I should be more family. Holy shit, guys. Do you see that? My, that I just, wow. What is going on? Oof. Think your volume numbers are squiffy? Why? You don't think there was actually 16,000 bought there? On my end, that
Block
print is
sell.
8420. I don't know. That could just be because of when yours resets. You might have different reset numbers on there. Oh, but it was definitely okay. One of us is squiffed out. Oh, really? What? There, it is really that much volume trading there. I'm pretty sure. So, like at 19,
News now picking up from Axios.
like look at the volume.
Incoming Speaker Nancy Pelosi is meeting today with Bob Lighthizer, the US representative, per course familiar, that she's the person who will be deciding if the USMCA passes. White House
Look at these
expects
prints.
20. There's lots of leverage and knows how to use it.
Look at these prints. It is printing for 15K there. So I don't know why I've been.
Block buy.
Equity news now. It's Fitch affirming Swiss
Block
Re
buy.
at IFS a
See
AA-
that?
outlook stable.
So I got 12,000 at 20 there. Now Discord is starting to be like, okay, what's going on here, guys? I can't even. What? Wow. And the thing that makes this particular move even more nuts, that granted the E-mini is moving down, sure, but they're not like I mean, look at how much that bid absorbs.
10 minutes now until we begin the US factory orders for October, expected at -2% against a prior of 0.7%. The factory order X transportation, a prior of 0.4%. Well, the durable goods orders from the US, the final readings for October expected at -2.4% against prior of -4.4%. The X transportation at 0.1% expected against prior 0.1%. The cap goods orders non-defense X air prior of a flat reading, while the cap goods ship non-defense X air prior of 0.3%. As well, at the top of the hour, we're beginning the US
Yeah, I have to hold that.
manufacturing index for November.
I can like move up my profit taking, sure, but you have to hold that.
Business activity at 62.0 expected against a prior of 62.5. Employment index a prior of 59.7 with the new orders index 61.5 previously, and prices paid index prior of 61.7. Finally, out of Canada, at the top of the hour, we're getting the IV PMI
Are you
for November.
kidding me?
That's a prior of 64.6, with the seasonally adjusted figure expected at 59.7.
You've got to be kidding me. That was a 4K bid there. Well, they sold it, but still. I just can't even believe what I'm seeing, guys. Okay,
Block buy.
they are stacking some on the offer there, and he bought through it. What? Ugh. I don't think he knew
From the Axios
for
Business
sure.
One sources piece that the Oval Office has.
I think he was
meeting
just
police.
joking.
Rumor has been rescheduled for 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
He was just looking at the overall structure of the bond market, and he was
Block buy.
saying, "My goodness, my goodness." He was just looking at the overall structure of the market and was saying that if anybody that's short is getting basically stopped out here, it's going to go up to 23. Okay. Yeah, I could have gotten 22. All right, so we redeemed ourselves. I guess. This is probably going to keep going. It could keep going as long as I keep seeing big numbers on bids there. It could keep going. Whew. Hold for 24. So where did I get in at? 17?
Block buy.
Really? Oh my gosh, E-mini, what are you doing? Okay, not really what I wanted, but oh my gosh. Gosh. Bonds did not move up that time. So focus. The fuck? The E-mini bust in there was something else. A lot of profit taking there. I'd have 10 heart attacks if I was trading the E-mini. Not if you were short. Oh, man. I'm not... This is just...
Nine, so we get this get at the top of the hour again, starting with the factory orders for October, expected at -2%. Moving on to the durable goods orders, then final reading for October, expected at -2.4%. The transportation at 1% expected. Then onto the US ISM at non-manufacturing, November, 0. Well, then onto the Canadian IV PMI seasonally adjusted for November, 59.7 expected.
Block sell.
He's still there. They block sold 21.5 and it did not push through. Okay. E-mini's threatening again. Nope, I didn't like that one. They turned off robots, dude. This is even more crazy than that shit show we saw in February.
1 minute.
Okay, so they must be pulling because there's news coming out. What is it again? Non-manufacturing PMI.
Rob saying documents steel joint data steel. Well, as Bank of Canada's pause has begun press conference. 10 seconds. -2.1% for the factory orders, -4.3% for durable goods orders, transportation 0.2%, non-manufacturing index at 60.7.
So it's actually good.
7.2. Recap, that was the US factory orders -2.1%, paravised 0.2%, transportation at 0.3%, paravised 0.1%. The durable goods orders, that was -4.3% with transportation 0.2%. The cap goods orders non-defense XR was a flat reading against the prior. The cap goods ship non-defense XR at 0.3%. ISM non-manufacturing index was 60.7, beating expected 59.0. The breakdown, the business activity 65.2 was ahead of expected 62.0, with prices paid index 64.3 and new orders 62.5, employment index at 58.4. Finally, the Canadian IB PMI seasonally adjusted 57.2 was below expected 59.7, with the PMI number 57.3. Comments now out of Palace saying we'll have more information ahead of the next rate decision. Need to understand the stats can revisions better as well.
I'm really thinking about buying that 20.
Be done ahead of the next rate. The comments out
And
of
that one
IC
actually
services
held.
were strong, but concerned on labor tariffs.
And they're still taking it. They're still taking it. They're still. What the fuck? Is this ever gonna stop?
Because again, the trade data were a positive surprise.
So Eric says that his volume is different too.
Block by.
French political news. The French government may be delaying Plan 20 corporation
Block
tax
sell.
cut ways to compensate the lost government tax revenue. Pause again, declining to give a timeline on the pace of rate increase.
This is crazy.
And the pace of rate hikes will be data dependent.
Like, I don't even know what to say or think right now. I took that 1 at 20, and then there was still a lot selling there, so I took it off, even though I was kind of, even though when I took that at 20, I was planning on holding it till maybe 22. There was at least one more taking it, but kind of said, well, let's just take the one and get the, like, you know, so that we're on plus 4 on the day or whatever. But man, that one where I sold at the 6.5, that was a really bad mistake. A really foolish mistake, but it's okay. Overall, the trade has been better for me today. But that's, you know, probably largely just because it was on the right side. Yes, so it does look thin. They're only putting up 4,000 max. It's still not as thick. Look at 21.
Comments from an OPEC delegate, there will be a deal completed on Friday.
Hmm. I don't know what to tell you guys. I really think that my prints are right.
Brexit news now. Beth Rigby from Sky News tweeting that cabinet members are just out of number 10. Sources telling her that this was an update and where the government is at the meaningful vote, well, not pulling a Tuesday vote.
Um. Uh-huh. Yep. Think it's gonna be absorption at 20 again? Okay, well they did trade through 20 without a ton of trouble. The E-mini is recovering. Hmm. So the thing that I've seen here that's kind of changing my mind about things is that they're now able to trade through 20 and even 19.5
Block
without
buy.
significant icebergs showing up. Okay, block buyer is still there. Alligator thinks that there's a reversal coming in. I'm kind of starting to see it. Okay. What does one lot mean? Well, so when one lot just means you are buying one futures contract. So people say you're trading a one lot, they're just saying you're putting the minimum amount of risk on that you possibly can.
More from Bank of Canada's plus, the economy has been operating at capacity for the past year. In the oil sector, problems are material.
Let's just let it do its thing and see what happens.
Plus, feels like the oil impact has to be smaller than before.
There's definitely not trading the way that it was. So if one lot is 12 and a half, then two lots is 25. Is that to mean if you make a 12.50 per tick? So I think that's what it is on the E-mini, right? Then yeah, you make two ticks, it's $25. You make a point, it's $50. I think is what it is on the E-mini. Oh, we all went short. Yep. The E-mini right now looks coiled up to me. I think they're just gonna blow out here. Yeah. Could frankly it could come all the way down to here. I don't know if that's how far it's gonna go. We're just gonna have to be quick on our feet.
understand markets being preoccupied with the US with trade war. And there is no pause put.
This is what I'm saying. Hey, look. They said that they're gonna make a deal, guys. They're gonna make a deal. Trump is all in on this. China sounds happy, or China sounds like they're putting in their best efforts. Like, the trade war thing is not. There's no reason to be trading that right now. Why would the market be selling on that? Doesn't make sense to me. Well, we're still seeing massive absorption at 20. So he thinks.
I'm going to tweet now from President Trump: without the phony Russia witch hunt, with all that we have accomplished in the last almost 2 years, my approval rating would be at 75% rather than the 50% just reported by Rasmussen.
Did you take any lessons from John Grady? Is it any good? So the way that I learned to trade on the DOM was from John Grady's basic course. And I think that it is the best. Not only is it the best, but it's the best for your value trading education out there. So if you're thinking about buying the basic course and you're kind of on the edge, I would say 100% buy it. No, absolutely no question in my mind, I would buy it. I read that book like so I'm an LDS person, so I think of like trading books, trading education as like the scriptures, right? So to me, the technical analysis of stock trends is like the Old Testament. Mind over markets is the New Testament. And no BS day trading is like the Book of Mormon or the Pearl of Great Christ or something like that. It's canon in my head. Those are the three things that if you're gonna trade, I would say you have to at least read those three things. So that's my opinion on that. John is really great. And another thing I would say is, if you have a question, email him. He responds to literally every email. It'll be like within a day, he'll respond to any question that you ask him. And all the time, I'll, if I'm having trouble with a certain thing and I'm like, should I be changing this or this? And I just ask him, and he's great. He's great. So if you have any questions, just email him. But I would 100% buy it. For sure. Okay, well, I did the right thing getting out there. Should have reversed, frankly. What does that put me at now? Good deal. Too bad that I had that really bad thing, or I would be up almost 16 ticks today. And that's not even like just buying and holding. And even off of that too. Like, it's crazy. Today has been quite the day. And we could maybe just pull little, ticks out here and there almost all day, probably. I think I missed a short opportunity there. You think it's going to go to 24, huh? Like that big order out there at 24.5? Well, we need Swisso to come back and tell us because we hit 23, so now
The OPEC meeting concluded with no figures debate to continue Friday with OPEC delegate. Meeting has concluded with no figures. The debate to continue.
So I understand that when I made those trades, almost every trade that I've taken long has been based off of the fact that we would get down to a support zone and I would see 16, 20,000 K contracts buying on it. And that was the only reason I bought that, and the block orders buy. So that's why I did it. But now I am kind of looking back at what Swisso said, and I was like, okay, what did you know something, or were you just making a really good call based on, information that's available to all of us? Because his point was that the contract is at like the what is the word that we use? I forget what but he was basically saying that for everything to come out equal on the contracts, it turns it's 120 23. Or no, was it 30? Was it 30? He said 30, wasn't it? So maybe we're not quite there yet. We sure have built a lot of volume in this 20 area though. So yeah, you're right. Swisso said 120.30. By the way, Tino, I should give you the regular permission so you can post pictures if you want. There you go. And they have the blue name. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty weird. This buying that we're seeing in bonds is pretty mind-boggling. Go all day long. Well, that last 2 or 3, where was it that I really felt like it had a really good chance of reversing? Was it when I took it it was at 16, wasn't it? So it was way back there. Yeah, it was. So when we were here, I kind of thought that there was a good chance of reversing. And then here I thought there was a good chance of reversing. But now this is just looks like a bull flag. Okay, can you repeat the 2 books? So the first one, I have it right here actually. This is The Technical Analysis of Stock Trends by Robert D. Edwards and John McGee. This was written in like 1920, okay? And this is technical analysis. So when you're reading this, just remember all of this stuff about all these, hold on. All this stuff that you hear about trend lines and all of those sorts of things, it's bullshit. But the thing that's so great about that book is that they explain this is why this pattern happens.
3%.
So they'll say, a head and shoulders happens because, you get a buying impulse that isn't as strong as the first one. And so then when you're watching order flow, you can say, does the order flow here fit the current action, right? The flaw with technical analysis, in my opinion, I'm going to make a video about this probably tomorrow. I think I'm going to post it over the weekend, but the problem with technical analysis is that it does not take into account the order flow. If you trade technical analysis patterns based on seeing it in the order flow, they're very, very effective. Trading and exchanges, market microstructure for practitioners as well. Yeah, that one is on my list. I have not read that one yet. But my understanding is that book is the if you really want to understand like the level 2 and that sort of a thing, that's like the best book to read. Anyways, so then the second one that I mentioned is Mind Over Markets by James Dalton. And that book was written in the 80s, and that is where market profile originated from. So when I look at the volume and I say, okay, we've created a cluster here and we came out of it and now we're back into it, and if we stay here for a certain amount of time, we're likely to go to the other side of it and maybe even break back down through it. That's where that sort of a thing comes from. So Mind Over Markets will teach you how to look at the action of the day to determine kind of what's going on, and the action by price level to determine what's going on. So that's why it makes that, I think, such a critical. Well, I wish I had bought it, but I don't know. We did make a new high there, but it was actually not that much, although it was a strong buy. I don't know if you could just sell it there, though. It's interesting. The E-mini has just been grinding around here now. Yeah, no problem. So I think I have, I don't know if I mentioned those books in my, like, getting started with futures course or not. Anyways, and as for who is Swisso, he's just a guy that chats in YouTube.
News now from David Shepard, the Financial Times energy editor, saying the Libyan minister leaves. Meeting is ongoing, but needs to catch his flight. Refuses to say if the deal is yet done. Yes, that start until March.
So I don't know. I don't think he works for a firm or anything like that. I think that he just has a good read on the larger term contract. She's reaching for 24. Yeah. Where were you getting 24 from, Mizzy? Was there a special? Well, I'm not seeing anything else up above us except for there was this big order that's been at 24.5 for a while.
From Plus, downside risks have emerged for forecasts.
So I would expect to see a level break set up here at the top. Simple quarter points. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Cool. It is not.
Why does the oil shock affect Mac?
By who? Which one were you talking about? I'll post it here on both of them.
By clarity on how UK could up. Continuing area to
Well, that bonds continue to buy may be a really bad sign for stocks, no? Although, if if this is, let's just say, just watching what the book and aggressive traders do at those prices can help you come to a conclusion about moving to the next quarter point or previous quarter point. Gotcha. I'll watch that. Well, what I've seen so far is that they touched it and 184 went into it. And there was actually quite a decent amount of trade at 23.5.
Confirming South Africa at double plus out.
But no
Double B plus out.
no indication as of yet that they want to continue even further.
Block sell.
Okay.
Block buy.
Yeah. Woo boy. Oh baby. Well, the seller is really starting to dig in now, isn't it?
Canada's plus declining to bank running its
Man. So the E-mini was turning down there a little bit. So what I was going to say earlier is on the E-mini,
more comments there from Sir.
if that's as far as they go, it's actually really good.
Answer to that question of substance important is not the timing. If that question can be answered in the course of the next few days, then all will be.
If this is as far as we go today, like if we've put in the low for the day, then there's a pretty good chance that they may still go down tomorrow, but they wouldn't be able to get below this previous low. And then you have 3 higher highs, and you could potentially get a buy there. And if that happens, then you're starting to get into, this is maybe just crazy ranging action that you tend to see at bottoms. Not ranging action, you start to get like wild volatility. Wild volatility. And that today what we're seeing is the most, is just insane, really. Okay. So they took that 22 pretty aggressively. It's going to be the 20 again is going to be where it gets interesting. And really, well, 21.5 is probably going to get defended a little bit too.
Pause the
Okay. So it actually looks fairly balanced to me right here. Midpoint between 16 and 24. I got you.
from below surprise by the recent decline.
This could continue, but it was balanced there, so I took it off. I'm kind of wishing I was still in though. You'll see I've taken these little trades a couple of times and it's been working. When the market, it's kind of funny. How do I put it? I'm gonna draw a picture for you guys, okay? Over here, up in the upper right corner. Can you see that?
Haven't break.
This is going to be volatility. And this is going to be how much risk you should take. I think when volatility is low, you don't want to take a whole lot of risk. In fact, you shouldn't trade at all. So this right here is like Christmas. Okay, you don't want to take anything. Okay, here, summer. Okay. So then when you get into normal, okay, then you want to take some risks, right? Then there are big mover days, right? Okay. Like a trend day, right? But then you get these massive things, and this is when I think that you should take off risk. Because what starts to happen is that the market wiggles around so much that you can make a ton just taking 2 ticks or so and just, letting it wiggle around. And then you don't get stuck in like these ones that I did earlier where you're holding on for it and you lose a ton, Someone told me, I don't know. Yeah, I'll ask him, but okay. So yeah, there was more in it. Anyways, I hope that picture made sense. I'm just yapping. See John typing. What's Mr. Bottomley got for us today? So the risk has come out of Treasuries quite considerably.
Bank of Canada's Pelosi's press conference.
Was it? Where were we at when we were talking about that? 10. Counter trade period. So trading reversals with this is kind of gets interesting because it's always like they'll show you something and then they'll blow through it. And then they'll show you something and they'll struggle with it a little bit, but they'll go through it. And then they'll you'll see a spot and it will actually reverse, but it's only good for like 2 to 4 points, and then it continues up, right? And it's just like every time they do it, it gets a little bit better and a little bit better, and maybe eventually it does reverse. But some days there are trend days, and it just never does it. Oh, hold on, I gotta. Oh man. The controversial question. Do you recommend for starters to go on a simulator first for several weeks or going live right away trading treasuries or mini? So I'm a little bit of an outlier in the community where I say not only do I think that you should go on simulator for a little while, but probably for a long while. So my experience and read a lot of things and seeing people on Discord and stuff like that is that it can take you a good 3 to 5 years to even start to become consistently profitable trading. And in that time period, you might lose a lot of money trying to figure it out, you know? So I would not be afraid to be on sim for a few months, frankly. There are definitely cycles in the market. And these cycles can last anywhere from, like 1 to 3 months. We call them market regimes. And you need to have at least seen multiple market regimes, because what you're going to find happens is you'll start trading and you'll be in a certain market like what we're seeing
Block
today.
sell.
Okay. But what we're seeing today is pretty crazy, and there are certain things that I did, like, we saw a ton of absorption on the bid, and so I was taking it there, and that's a good signal today, or it was a good signal today. And you're going to find it works and works and works, and then all of a sudden one day is just not going to work. Not only is it not going to work, it's going to fail on you literally every time.
We'll be meeting.
And so the big experience that I would warn a new trader about is look for the switches. The market's going to change on you, and the skill that's going to matter the most to long-term consistent profitability is being able to adjust when that happens. So, and that's my advice on that. Now, a lot of people, I should give credit to the other side. A lot of people say you should trade with real money. And there is a good reason for that, and that is that it's psychologically different when you're trading with real money. Now, if you're like me, I'm very much a creature of habit, and if you are trading sim and you build up really good habits, then hopefully those habits just stick even if you are really emotional about it. And I would definitely, you've got to care. If you're on sim, you've got to care. Like, you've got to track your performance, and you've got to say, I really want to have, meet this profit target for this month or whatever, and make those targets based on, what the volatility is, like what is the average true range for your time period or something like that. That to set your goals. I kind of want to be short, but I don't think I want to be short at 21. so that you care, or do combines. I mean, that's $150, so it's not like you're putting yourself in the poorhouse, but it'll make you care, because if you do well, you could potentially get funded. You probably won't, but you could. Yeah, Michelangelo Bitcoin retesting 3,500. Oh, I haven't had, because I've wanted to see the orders, I haven't had that up for a little bit, but when let's talk about, so did that answer your question, TSX? I'm going to call you TSX because I can't say the first part of your message. Uh-oh, see, that's 13,000 at 21. Still there. We should give Mark the regular permission to. By the way, if you guys are new, there's a Discord link, and there's a lot of activity in Discord. So the way that I kind of play is like the YouTube chat is kind of more just fun for me. So like if you ask me a question, you want to chat, it's probably best to do it in YouTube. But like for more serious, like discussing what you're seeing and kind of trading together, I would check out the Discord. This is the first time in a long time that the ZB managed a full point move for the RTH morning session, and they got the job done by 10:30.
More
Oh,
from
good
Pelosi
point.
on the new NAFTA, saying it has good features to it, but it means nothing without enforcement.
Anyways, so let's talk about Bitcoin. So I've been seeing something really interesting here in Bitcoin, and it's this right here. Do you see this? You see this cumulative delta down here? So this is market buys versus market sells. And it is opposite to the direction that it's moving. Kind of interesting, right? So, could mean that people are hedging themselves. Like maybe some people are going short over here and they're using this to hedge themselves or something. I don't know. This is kind of weird. There could be a couple of explanations for what could cause that, but it's an imbalance of sorts. So if we this right here, this level is 3,500 got breached, but only very briefly, and when it did, what happened to the cumulative delta? It puked out. So you're going to have a dangerous situation where if Bitcoin decides that they're not going to buy up to 4,000 and they hit 3,500 again, I think it could get really ugly in Bitcoin. And my indicator still says that we'll probably go to 2,000. So, okay, so I was right about not wanting to sell 10. And the E-mini moved a little bit lower.
In a minute's time, we'll be getting the figures. The order will be going through this. The numbers first expected to be a draw of 0.92 million. Our build 577 million. Draw 3.5 million. 6 million. The distillate figures expected to be a build of 1.18 million against a par build.
Oh, I have it over here.
1 million. Range of a draw of 3 million. Build of 2.5 million. The Cushing's no expectations there, but a prior build of 1.177 million. Expected to be a build of 1.3 million against a prior draw of 0.74 million, and a range of 3 million draw against a build of 2. Finalization expected at 0.7%, prior of 9%, 7% to 2%. Just a quick reminder of the API numbers we got earlier in the week. The indicator that crude was a build of 5.36 million, distillate a build of 4.32 million, a build of 1.4 million, gasoline build of.
So normally I would stop the stream about right now, but I have a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to be able to stick around. So I think I'm going to stick around at least for the European close, but I need to at least use the restroom and so on and so forth. So I will be back in just a few minutes.
Block sell.
Okay. Oh, there was actually some buys at 23. Well, I like the 22, and I like how it ticked down there too, actually. Actually. Careful. Okay. Okay. So a little bit of balance, but a lot trading into it. E-mini. Hearing actually made a new low, didn't it? Just by a teensy weensy little bit. There. Yeah.
That's Ricky now from 9 years old. Pretty sort of by 200.
Okay.
Vote. Bit of general dismay that PM didn't fully put her cards on the table.
Well, it looked good there for a little bit when I had that, but then they did take it up. And to me, this is kind of starting to look like maybe we could break a new high. Although I'm not seeing the same kind of bid side absorption stuff. Okay, so what was that? It's a little bit of a stop run. Missed it. I'm more concerned by the yield curve signal than from equities. Well, we've been steepening on the knob, so... How long did it take you before you became profitable in futures?
3 minutes now until we get the weekly DOA inventory figures. Again, running through expectations. Crude expected to be a draw of 0.92 million. This is a build of 1.18 million. No expectations for Cushing. A power build of 1.177 million. And gasoline a build of 1.3 million. Fine utilization 0.7% expected. Again, running through the API numbers we got earlier in the week. Crude came in at a build of 5.36 million. This is a build of 4.22 million.
The crude reports.
A build of 1.44 million, and gasoline was a build of 3.61 million. As well, we're expecting the Treasury announcements of 10-year notes, well, in the 3-year note and 30-year bonds.
Oh. Anyways, so that's a complicated question because I still don't think that I'm consistently profitable for my things. I mean, I'm doing good this week. I'm up by like 5 ticks or something this week, which isn't like super amazing, but I really want to be doing a little bit better. I had a really great period from about December of last year to March of this year where I just did great. But then, kind of wasn't doing so well. So it goes through, and this is the start of 30 year. So, it takes a while. I'll say that much. And am I doing it full time? No. I usually only trade the first 2 hours of the session and I go into my regular job. And I would recommend, have a real job. Have financial support because scared money is useless. Okay, so this is getting quite obscene.
1 minute.
So now they're trading. Now they traded through that big volume line that was at 24.5. But sometimes you get this thing where they trade through it and they flip right back through. Or you're actually starting to get a lot of offers on here. And the deltas are still not enough to be justifying new highs. Yeah.
Big delegate, they will press conference. Not that, like a delegate press conference. 10 seconds. Drop 7.323 million. Distillate a build of 3.811 million. Gasoline a build of 1.699 million.
Okay, so I see oil moving up.
729 million. Fine utilization at 10%. Again, that was the crude stocks coming in at a draw of 7.323 million. Distillate build of 3.811 million. Cushing a build of 1.729 million. While gasoline a build of 4 billion. From the reports that was production 7.7 million barrels per day, flat reading from
Block sell.
Like that.
the Prime Minister.
We're gonna come back to this 20 area. Interesting that there's a big order down there. You see that in the 5-year? These two aren't really reacting to it though. Oops.
Block buy.
So the E-mini just has to threaten it and somebody decides they're gonna buy it.
Ties with partners.
Well, that was a good buy right there. E-mini getting very volatile down here. Yeah. Treasuries on edge too. Some stop runs there. I think I better take this off here. That pull 24.5. Nope. I would really like to short it, but they're not giving me a clean look. Took me 3 years and about $20,000 before I stopped losing more money. Wow. John, I had no clue. Should have told me that a long time ago. I tell you what, TSX, John is a much better trader than me, so I would listen to what he says. How was my average price 24.5? That's not right. No, see, so when I'm seeing like that much on the bid, I don't know, unless this like really pushes down here, that's not good. Could actually give me a buy here. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. Sucks. Did you see Peter Davies is now offering courses with his platforms, but it's expensive. See this big order at 21 in the 5-year? Okay. Not quite enough. It's probably gonna take off without me. Okay. Part of my 20K expense when I first started was I paid out to guys like Peter Davies. If I had to do it over again, I'd spend more time reading and listening to people in places like this. Well, I don't know if I think their course is based on Axie, right? Well, first of all, so everything that Jigsaw does is amazing. So if they're offering a course and they're charging 1,600 for it, it's probably worth it. But the question is really more, how much money are you willing to put into this, and do you really need it? Right? So I can't answer the first question, but the second question, do you really need it? You don't. You'll learn it on your own, and you can learn it here on the fly as it happens. But, they charge that much for a reason. So, yeah. Personally, though, if you're just getting started out, I would probably be like, this is going to go without me. That sucks. Look at that. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. That was a pretty epic. Their E-mini is still not quite to a level that I would like be freaking it. That they still haven't broken the level, if that makes sense. That was a really big stop run. was kind of funny watching myself today because, earlier when I'd see that, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But now it's been happening like so much for the past hour that I'm just kind of like, okay. You do you, yes. So it might be giving us one here at 24.5. Although the E-mini is still looking scary. Yeah. The 5 years not all the way back up there yet. It's almost completely pulled at 24.5. Ah. Okay. No problem. Yeah, so I would go back and read. There's an education, econ and education channel. I would go and read through that. There's a lot of interesting things in there. Okay. Okay, yes. What? Wow, you went long at 16, but you got out at 18 in ZB. I kind of like how this is developing in Treasuries, but I what's going on in ES is just lunacy to me. Yeah, in ZB. I like that they were showing the level, and you've kind of getting some serious liquidity in ZF now. Look at the liquidity on ZF. That's good. That's really good. But the E-mini just went on like a stop run, stop run, stop run. Which so you'll see something, you'll see a stop run, and it's like goodish, and all the flurry of activity, and then it goes down. And sometimes you'll see that and it'd be like, oh, they bought it. and then the seller will come in and hit him again, and then all of those new guys that just took it in off of the stop run will get stopped out, right? Like, I've seen that before, but to see it go like goosh, 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 like it just did in the E-mini, very unusual. I think I've seen that one other time in ES back in, I think it was back in August. It was kind of crazy. No, it was before that. Was the volatility before that, like maybe back in like May or something. So I remember because that day we had a stop run, and Keith and Alligator reversed on it and made like 8-10 ticks or something on it, and it was really great. And so then it came down and it did another one of those, and so a bunch of people decided that they were going to try and fade those, and they got stopped out. Yeah, it's looking okay in ES. I mean, this is a good V-shaped bottom there. A little bit too much at 23.5, I think. Well, yeah, ZB stalled at 20 is a good point. So we did an analysis yesterday to see, was there some sort of statistical edge that certain numbers that it tends to stall out at or stop at or whatever, and I did it by looking at a swing indicator, and it said that there's no edge. Like, I looked over 2 years and it said that it's not a thing, and yet it really seems like every time that they come to one of those numbers that it stalls. So I don't know. And Uzi has been pointing out to us this week about how, you know, where they react at quarter points. So tell me though, because my reading is there's really not a ton. There's more interest below 24 than there is above 24. That's what it seems like to me right now. Is that your reading as well, Uzi, or is it? Yeah, it's not about an edge for the market. It's a mental thing. At least that's the way I look at it. Okay, sure. Well, like for me, it's like if I know that one of those numbers are coming up, like there's a single print or whatever it is, I usually try and get out in front of them, because I've had it deny me at those spots so many times. They really are sneaky about it. Not sneaky, like they know how to play it, man. Like, they know everybody wants to see it trade that price, and they'll make sure it doesn't happen, or at least not until everybody's given up on it first. Okay. So here is the E-mini is threatening it again. Yes, it's grinding lower. Think about what you're doing at every single price in the day's range. Look for icebergs, absorption, stacking pulls, whatever, right? Sure. The Nikkei. So, where is he today? He's not on today. We have a guy that does trade the Asian markets, but he's not on today. He lives in Japan. Hmm. See that? What's with this? Am I? No, that's right. Oh, now they're gonna give it to me, huh? Now you're gonna do it. Take that same skill set, those same observations, and only apply them to quarter points and their midpoints for confirmation or rejection. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And that's kind of why I'm saying that, like, they get above 24.5, but like they're not doing the same stuff above it that they were before. So that doesn't mean that it couldn't go higher, but it's not giving me like a clear continuation signal above 24 like it did at like 20 and 16. They limit the prices you're willing to trade. 2 cans of corn are on sale at the store. You don't buy the more expensive one. Gotcha.
Yeah, himself backing.
Oh, that's right. Well, the E-mini approached that much more cautiously. But we're wrong. We got to get out here.
Block
Hey.
by.
Shit. Okay. That one sucked.
I
Hmm. Nope.
UK political news now. Just be aware that Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of the 1922 committee, is about to give an interview with Kay Burley on Sky News. getting an update now on the Atlanta Fed GDP now model, coming in at 2.7% for the first quarter versus the prior reading of 2.8%.
Well, so I take that one short because of the stop run. I think it
Picking
could
up from
still.
Jennifer Jacobs via Bloomberg, latest in the US will be seeking to extradite Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada, sources say. It could take more than a year, with the White House supporting the extradition effort.
And those are often really good. Oh, what? Oh, I don't know.
Yes, supporting CFO by
I took it because of the stop run, right? And it's usually good for a few ticks. But I mean, that was a lot of activity above 24. You know, on a new high. I'm kind of a little, I'm not quite sure why. Hmm. Hmm. I know it was just a lot of activity, but it was like a really, really bad stop run too. So like, and now that we're like kind of actually through that level and kind of holding it, you might actually see more of a move down. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm still new to looking at these, but I've been taking a gander at options data for ZB contracts, and ZB is heavy on calls. Let's at least do that.
supporting the front.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Getting results now for week US auction results. To cover coming in at 3.04 with a high yield rate of 0.365%, direct accepted 9.4%, direct at 36.4%. In the 8 week, the bid cover at 3.01, high yield rate of 2.39%, indirect accepted, we will indirect at 35.4.
well, the thing with options, when I would look on that page, I would pay particular attention. Hold on a second. So anyways, come on.
They clear and approve the C packages today once they give them our. If someone may object or.
Anyways.
Sell.
Oh my. Sorry, I shouldn't be so silly. Anyways, Uzi, the thing that I would pay attention to is what price do they have it at? Because there's a very strong tendency to get stuck on that price. If there is a ton of people, especially if there's a lot of calls and puts at that price, we just get stuck. Like, we don't go anywhere. Okay, E-mini, the treasuries have come off big. Wow.
Not be easy. How many comments of like delegates around?
I'm really tempted to take it off there, but
Block sell.
My edge says that it should go to 20. And they're still selling it too. I got long with the target of 24, build at 18, hit my target and collapse. I guess I'm okay. Wow, so you were able to really call the price quite early. Some crazy selling there, guys. Oh, I feel so greedy right now. Okay. I'm pissed it hit my target. Oh yeah. The worst is always when you get out. I mean, you got lucky, I think, because usually it's me. It's like, oh, maybe I got the wrong spot. This isn't going out so well, so I'll get out, and at break even or -1, and then I get the move. And there's always those ones that the ones that I think really suck are the ones where, like here at this point, I do think that we could make it to 20, but does it really make sense from a risk reward perspective to go short at 21.5? I don't think it does. You know what I'm saying? Because your risk to the upside is basically like the high of the day. So you have to take like 10 ticks of risk, and what is your next kind of stop on the downside, like 2? So it's hard because you can't stay in. Well, I mean, it's not that you can't stay in, it's once it's gone, it is gone. And if you try and chase it, you're liable to just get screwed. Yeah, that short worked out pretty well, didn't it? Let's put this stuff. Let's post it.
Block by.
Head of the 90 point in Prime Minister.
Yeah, I think that with that one, that I should stop. Yeah.
Block sell.
Hoping that reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
Brady saying it is possible to postpone the Brexit vote.
I mean, John has a good point, right? Like, ZB is a better trade. Straight up, it's a better trade. Could have taken that one from 24 to 12, 10 ticks, $310. Would have made a lot more. It actually would have been a little bit better if I was just trading 2 contracts in ZN because of the trades that I made the most money on. But yeah, but I mean, especially in this kind of action, that holding a contract on ZB is really stressful. I don't know how you do it, Uzi. Here he's taken what you said, it was 7 contracts, right? Oh man. The pressure. Six. He had 6 on. So 6 times 2, 12 ticks. Oh, that's like $320, right? This is not bad. Well, I'm happy with where I took, even though I think there's a good chance that they get to 20. I think that taking it off at 21 where there was the distribution, I think is the right thing. In fact, there is a probability, well, I don't want to say probability. One scenario that could end up happening is that this is just distribution and now we're just going to rotate around 22 all day.
That's
So another thing I should point out or keep in mind, bruh, if I would have held that trade for 12 ticks, it's 2,000. Yeah. Oh man. Jeez. Yeah. Anyways, one of the problems that I have is that I have to go to work normally. So I would have missed that one, right? I would have left at 852 and I wouldn't have seen any of that move up. Well, I guess I would have avoided that one. But I would have avoided all of this right here. So I would have just ended the day at +8. But then I caught this thing. Man, oh man. You know, the other thing that kind of makes me ugh, is that these ones where I lost, not this one where I sold at 24. That one was okay. Probably should have been 24.5. Probably should have cut it off earlier. But that one wasn't just kind of was okay, normal. A loss. It just ripped your, it rips your face off. But in this kind of action, that sort of thing is liable to happen, right? So I don't necessarily consider that one a mistake. But like this one in particular, when I sold it at 16, like that was like the bottom of that range. That was the bottom of that range. So it really wasn't a good spot, was it? So that one shouldn't have happened. Should have been going long there, frankly. And even this one probably shouldn't have happened, but oh, there you go. There's my 20. So that's cool. To get a 10 ticker too is like feels really good. Monday I chased the market up every quarter and just flat out didn't get filled. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. The action that we've been seeing here pretty crazy, right? So it's really hard to stay grounded in that sort of a thing, right? Like can sit down and say, this happened. That must mean that this is always a really good signal that you should buy it. But the truth is that what's happening today is so unusual. We may never see a day as crazy as this. This, Frank, I don't want to speak too soon or anything, but this could be like a once in a lifetime kind of day to trade and watch this. Totally, right? So we shouldn't read too much into it and the signals and everything, but it was very clear that at least today, that the best thing to do was to just wait for that iceberg on the bid and get in on that. Because so many people were selling into those. And it just held every time. Oh, and ZV did put in an initial pivot high. So that's another indication that the trend might be over. I think the markets are getting more crazy, and Q and ES are a fraction of their liquidity. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I kind of started taking it short was because I saw
Block
weak,
sell.
how weak the liquidity was getting.
Block sell.
Wow. Guys, what? I'm just gonna watch this one. I can't even, like, what? This, what the heck? Oh, guys. Really? I've never seen... initial balance high is 06. They pulled back to it once on their way up and spent no time there. I remember one day, a long time ago, like a year ago, and it ended up being a trend day, and there was this huge iceberg up at the top, and they traded through, and it was like 30,000 contracts or something, and then they pushed through it, and it was just like boosh, like trend day the rest of the day. It just wouldn't stop. Really good level break setups and everything like that. Today, how many times have we seen 15,000 trade? How many times have we seen 20,000 trade? Now there's 33,000 at 20.5. And it's on the bid again. I get the strongest has always been on the bid. So the signal that we've been getting through most of the day to buy again is back. Now there was a really strong trend down, so I don't think I would mess with it, but wow. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything that comes even close to comparing to what we have seen today. This is unreal. I mean, the thing that kind of scares me
Block sell.
thinking about this, that they sold 20. So if we had held out for 20, we would have gotten it. Well, I don't think it would have been worth the drama, though. You know what I mean? But days like today, you can literally scalp it all day. But I think about doing that, and I you know, like it did good today, and just the whole
Block sell.
the whole idea of doing it more just kind of makes me a little sick. Yeah, I'd trade out through the bottom of it now, probably. That's crazy that I could have held it, huh? Right? I don't think it would have been worth the drama, but it could have held it.
Did you?
Or we could have sold it at 20.5.
IMF.
Block sell.
Maybe it can retrace more, breaking down R2, but in my opinion, it's going to stay around this zone 19 to 16.
Block buy.
In ZB, I think, with higher time frame traders stepping in.
now from an OPEC delegate.
Okay, OPEC meeting is ending. E-mini is recovering quite strongly. In fact, this area, this area that we were at about an hour ago that we sat on for a really long time and then didn't go anywhere. We're above that, and then once you get above 2650, now you're starting to talk about positive. I am another watcher on your channel. Better stay out. My trading system is not working right today. Yeah. I thank you for watching, by the way. And if you guys are watching, you don't chat, you should chat. Because I'll tell you what. The main reason that I record this is so that I can go back and watch it. Okay. Like, this is something that a year from now I could link people to. You know what I mean? This is kind of embarrassing because I'm kind of acting like an idiot right now. Just mind blown by some of the stuff that I've seen. And I made some bad trades and I made some good trades. I'm just really grateful that I'm up today. But that's the main reason that I do it. And then, you know, when I started streaming it, and like the way the streaming started, if you guys aren't familiar with this, was the day that the Bitcoin futures went live, I streamed. And a bunch of Bitcoiners came in and watched. And somebody linked me, and we had like I don't remember how much it was. It was in the thousands of viewers. And so I said, oh, okay, I should just always stream it because it helped the channel. And so I kept doing it. Now, of course, we get, you know, about 16 people. But like, what's the main benefit of streaming? It's like they get that sense of community a little bit, you know? Like we have the guys in Discord that are going to be there whether I'm streaming or not, and always have really good things to say and have serious conversation. But the more, you know, holy crap, this is getting insane, and having a little bit more fun with it and everything like that. Like, that's all YouTube. So don't be shy, because I think that every person, you know, like a sense of belonging is like one of those one of those levels on the pyramid of needs, or whatever it is, right? And if you're a trader, that's a pretty big part of your life. And it's kind of hard to find other traders, and, you know, not having that kind of interaction, it sucks. And I think that it's a lot easier if you've got some people that are in the war zone with you, you know? Whew, I'm taking my little win to Ben. I ain't testing the gods with this action. Hey, good job, Uzi. How many ticks did you make overall? Boa tarde. Good night. Is that good night in Portuguese? Man. Okay, so the E-mini is doing a little bit of a ziggy zaggy thing, so the Treasuries may actually do a really good bounce here. So I think so the trend is definitely over. Well, not over. Doesn't mean that you couldn't make a new high, but like that trend itself is over. And now you're getting like the pullback. This is a trade always screws me over, because it's really hard to know if they're actually gonna retrace all the way, or if they're gonna base here and bounce back up, or if it's just gonna die. So I will also not take any more trades today. Today I did 8 from 24 to evens and 2 from 16 to 18. Okay, so you got so you got a 16. Wait, what? You did? Yeah. That is, no wait, is my math wrong here? No, it's right. So you got a 16 tick winner. I tell you what, any day that I got a 16 tick winner in ZB, I was happy. And you did them with 8. Come on, dude. So $4,000 on that one. You greedy bastard. And then you're all like, "Oh, I didn't get my 6 ticks on the other one." you're that's really good, man. Congratulations. Wow. That's crazy. The 124 to 130. Yeah. Oh, 124 to 140. Oh, okay. So it was actually 8. It was 8 ticks. So it was $2,000. That's still good. I think the biggest day I ever had was 24 ticks in a day on ZB. I think that was the best I ever did. And then the second best was, oh man, when was it? I think it was an FOMC day actually, earlier in the year, like back in March or April. And I made like a $400 winner on my live account, and then I lost about half of it. and then after that, it was all downhill. I don't know if that one particular trade just tilted me or if something changed in the market that day. I think something did change in the market that day, and it was like my trades never worked, and I was like, I better stop trading this. And that was my turnaround. Today is the best day I've had in a long time. Best week I've had in a long time. Oh, okay. So Zerv is around, but he is moving. So I would have liked to have seen what Zerv would have done today, because today's been a great day. I try to keep my target these days at 8 ticks. After that, I start to get itchy. Well, yeah. I think one of the mistakes that I made early on was when I first started trading, it was just way more volatile. I mean, this is probably the craziest day that I've seen, but days like, maybe Monday, were not really all that uncommon in treasuries. And there was days where, it'd go way up 16 ticks or a full point, and then it'd come all the way down. And, I kind of came in like right as that died down, where the easy money era ended. So I thought that, hey, if you make 16 ticks in a day, like, that's good. You're good to go, and you can stop trading. And I was very often going for 8 to 16 ticks. And sometimes you would kind of get them. But what I learned was the average rotation is 4 ticks, And if you got 8 ticks, then you did good. Might want to think about taking it off. You got 8 ticks and you see some sort of a signal that it's turning, you should take it off. And I did that many times today. And even though some of them were probably worth a little bit more, I think that overall it was the best thing. The best way to play it. So how am I gonna do that? Well, the E-mini still looks
Block
good.
sell.
They're still selling it. Seems like somebody new is in control of this market, and they're a little bit more aggressive on the market order side and not doing quite as much on the offer side. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep this going, but I haven't posted my
Block
Bitcoin
sell.
notes. Oh man, if this goes all the way back to like 10, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I've seen that happen. Like that happened in February. I remember that, and I sold it at the top, just like very much like today. But that day I held it, and it just all the way down. It completely retraced. Could happen. Well, I don't like. So another thing before we go, I'm gonna reload the data here just to be sure. Reload all historical data. That looks like a head and shoulders pattern in the. Okay, it did. It was partly just because I wasn't there. So you see this in Bitcoin? There was a big push down. They came back up. They weren't able to get over 3,700, but the cumulative delta is actually higher. So, if they fail here to get above 3,600 and they break the neckline at 3,500, you could have another flush. There's a potential setup there in Bitcoin that if you're messing around in there, I would just be aware of. Not saying it will or it won't. One of the things you got to remember is that a head and shoulder is not really tradable per se until it's broken. Unless you have something else that tells you that it's going to go and you also see the head and shoulders. But, the probability of it going to back down to 3,400 doesn't show up until it's broken the neck. Okay. Okay. Well, it is time for me to go. Oh, so you stopped doing the one tick thing, huh? Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, and I can see people are already left, so thank you guys for watching. It was a fun day. Let's not blow it all tomorrow. 'Cause Friday is gonna be icky. Icky Friday, yes. My old nemesis. So I really like this though. If the E-mini is able to hold this, heck, if they're able to get positive, well, not positive, but let's say above 2645, you know, that would be a really positive development. And you know, they did make a new low, but it wasn't a huge one. And it was a little bit like crescendo selling into it, you know. Could be this today. Could be maybe a good thing we look back on. We'll see. I might. Wow. Well, there you go. They just jumped up
Block sell.
10 points there, and now Treasuries are really taking the other side of the VWAP now too. Woo! And now they're almost to 2653. Yeah. Anyways, remember the big takeaway, guys. When it looks scary, they want you to be scared. They want you to be scared because they want you to be careful. When really, that's when you need to hit it. So when you need to get aggressive. All right. I will see you guys.